Guardian newspaper as well as the Daily Trust newspaper. So let's begin. Lagos. We're going to start with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Let's start with this story here on the front page. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, war veterans, wives of fallen heroes, lament neglect despite promises. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, war veterans, wives of fallen heroes, lament neglect despite promises. The story is on page 6 if you like to read. I have this one here that says victims of Bodija explosion lament unfulfilled promises 1 year after. Another failed promise there. Victims of Bodija explosion lament unfulfilled promises 1 year after. Stories on page 9 if you like to read. I have another one here that says lower inflation hinged on fiscal monetary efforts amid high food prices. Who is talking? You can read further on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Why we resist tax reform bills by NLC. Series on page 3 in the Guardian newspaper. Fagbemi reveals surge in presidential pardon requests. Stories on page 5. Fagbemi reveals surge in presidential pardon requests. Page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Nigeria suffering from mismanagement, says Sanusi. Stories on page 3. Nigeria suffering from mismanagement. Sanusi, sorry, that's Emir Kano now. It's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at it. The Emir Kano, Lamido Sanusi, has attributed the country's economic quagmire to irresponsible policies. He said this yesterday at the 21st Memorial Lecture of Chief Gani Fawayimi in Lagos. This is just as human rights lawyer Femi Falano, SAN, has said Kano State must have only one emir as passed by the Court of Appeal. Hence, the 16th Emir of Kano has come to stay despite stiff opposition. The story is right there. You can read further. Nigeria suffering from mismanagement, says Sanusi. The Guardian newspaper for you today. Let's take one last story from the Guardian newspaper. Dirty December, $500 tourist tax proposal exploitative, says Nightcom. Dirty December, $500 tourism tax proposal exploitative. Nightcom. The story is on page 7. Let's go take a look at that story. $500 tourism tax. That's quite steep, don't you think? That's quite steep. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. So I have the story here now. Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna dump the story. The paper has refused to open up. Okay. Finally, it has. So here we go. Here's the story here. It says the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM has described the suggestion by one Chief Dokun Olumofin proposing a $500 tourism tax for Nigerians in the diaspora returning home during the festive Dirty December period as ill-advised and potentially exploitative. In a statement by its Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit, Abdul Rahman Balogun, the organization said such a proposal was counterproductive. It described the advice as counterproductive and one that would rather discourage than encourage many Nigerians planning to come home. Let me quote what Nightcom said, and I quote now: such advice will no doubt mitigate efforts of the Diaspora Commission in encouraging the diasporans to visit home, invite others, and invest. End quote. I'd like to get your thoughts on this particular story. Dirty December, $500 tourism tax proposal exploitative, says Nightcom. The story is right there on page 7 if you like to read. Please pick it up and read further. I'll just keep quiet on that story. Let's go to Daily Trust right now. Daily Trust has the following stories for you. Why I won't help Tinubu government. Emir Sanusi. Why I won't help Tinubu government. Emir Sanusi. Riders says president lacks credible team. Presidency mum. Those are the two writers to that story. You can read further on page 4. We're struggling to survive. Falling heroes, widows. Stories on page 3. Sad one. Very, very sad one. Inflation rises to 34.80% in December. Inflation rises to 34.80% in December. Stories on page 19. Senate queries State House over 5.9 billion naira spendings on vehicles. Stories on page 24. Senate queries State House over 5.9 billion naira spendings on vehicles. Stories on page 24 of the Trust newspaper. War on Gaza. Israel, Hamas seal ceasefire deal. This is my conversation at 9 o'clock, by the way. If you would like to join the conversation, please do. Ireti Bakari, the host of Borderline Show here on Nigeria Info, will be my guest at 9 o'clock this morning. So you need to stay tuned. Let's have a conversation on what that means for the peace in the Middle East and for global peace as well. Here we go with another story here. Military bans drone operation in Northeast. Military bans drone operation in Northeast. Stories on page 23 of the Daily Trust newspaper for you today. Right. Now, what we're going to do is to quickly go up and take up the Daily Sun newspaper. It's 7:37 from our studios. I still have the Daily Sun. I still have the Vanguard as well on the table, as well as the Punch. So here we go with the Daily Sun newspaper. Again, Bauchi governor hits Tinubu. The writer says, claims government policies taking country to perdition, destruction. That story is on page 6. Again, Bauchi governor hits Tinubu. The writer claims government policies taking country to perdition, destruction. Page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Sanusi writes off Tinubu's men. The writer says president lacks credible people, vows not to help government in economic reform efforts. Stories on page 6. All right, okay. So we're going to take one more story from the Daily Sun, then would move on to Nigerian News Direct. Yoruba Alliance declare war on bandits, rejects Sharia court in Yoruba land. Yoruba Alliance declares war on bandits, rejects Sharia court in Yoruba land. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's go to Nigeria News Direct right now and take two stories from the Nigeria News Direct. Tax reform bills will ensure Nigeria reaps benefits of booming digital economy. FIRS chairman is speaking. Tax reform bills will ensure Nigeria reaps benefits of booming digital economy. FIRS chairman. And we have this another story here that says, release statistics backing your claim of increased poverty in Ogun State. Abiodun challenges CUPP. Release statistics backing your claim of increased poverty in Ogun State. Abiodun challenges CUPP. Stories on page 13 of the Nigerian News Direct. So let's go pick up the Vanguard newspaper. Why Boko Haram bandits thrive. Ex-generals, commanders allege NGOs, others aiding terrorists. Stories on page 14. Interesting. Why Boko Haram bandits thrive. Ex-generals, commanders allege NGOs, others aiding terrorists. The writers, why war against Boko Haram banditry others is unending. Retired generals say NGOs, international agencies, covertly aiding supply of arms to terrorists in forests. Explain why foreign countries refuse to sell arms to Nigeria. Note, locals covertly providing membership for terrorist groups. Lament efforts to prosecute terrorist sponsors sabotaged by vested interests. Suggest ways out of security challenge. It's a full story on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. You should pick it up if you're interested in that security story and read further. Okay. Meantime, I am going to go to page 10. No, let's go to page 19. Nigeria meets OPEC quota as output rises 6.3% to 1,507 million barrels per day. Something to cheer about, right? Okay. Nigeria meets OPEC quota as output rises 6.3% to 1,507 million barrels per day. Stories on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now let's go pick up the Punch. The Punch is our last paper on the show this morning before I come to start taking your feedback on these stories. 34.8% inflation rate triggers fears of rising prices, hardship. That story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. 34.8% inflation rate triggers fears of rising prices, hardship. The rider, high demand of goods, services during Yuletide caused inflation, says NBS. Oh yeah, now let's move on to another story. Tinubu governors salute fallen heroes, pledge support for widows. Stories on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Ogun, Mapoli students differ over attack on deputy governor. Ogun, Mapoli students differ over attack on deputy governor. Stories on page 29 as well this morning. It's 7:42 Lagos. I have to stop here at this moment right now to come take your thought. Well, let's take this story on the panorama page of the Punch newspaper. How bullet shots by Ogun policeman damaged my womb. Ketra. How bullet shot by Ogun policeman damaged my womb. Ketra. Story is right there on the page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Unfortunate story. All right, so let me come take your thoughts. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube, so I expect that I should be seeing some comments already on those two platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. You can also call the studio. That's right. You can call the studio 0201 277 0993 and 0201 465 7190. That one is for the ladies. And the WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. Yeah, that one is the WhatsApp number. Don't call that one, just send WhatsApp message to it. All right, but everybody got 60 seconds. Everybody has got 60 seconds to share their thought with me, essentially. Okay, and please turn off your radio. Good morning to you. Please call me back. Okay, good morning. Just call me back when you're ready with the radio thing. Yeah. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sherry.
Good morning.
Adeshawa from Quadry.
Welcome.
This year, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Adeshawa.
Yes, my own take is on the falling heroes.
Okay.
See, Mr. Sherry, if we look at it very well, who are the most valuable people in this country, if not for the military? They are the one really holding us. Imagine if they say they are not doing again. What would be our own fate? So they need to be taken care of. I don't expect the president not to be on ground on that day. It's very, very, very not okay. You are saying you have plans for the widow. Implement it even before saying it. That's the inflation saga. This thing is getting out of hand, Mr. Sheriff. It is getting out of hand. Thank you.
Thank you too, Adeshawa. Thank you for calling. Nigeria Info, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sheriff.
Good morning to you.
My name is Chika.
Good to have you.
Well, on the fallen hero, it's quite unfortunate that the president chose to get out of the country, while those that are paying the supreme price were to be honored. But be that as it may, let me react on the comment by Emir Sanusi that Nigeria is suffering from mismanagement. I mean, it is audible to the deaf and visible to the blind that this is the problem with every Nigeria. And it has even become more worse since APC government came on board. And I say with a sense of responsibility. Even Tinubu administration cannot be spared because most of us know the reason why he's busy traveling up and down is as a result of the new jet that he bought. And when you also look at the kind of policies and programs that they are putting in place, even the money that they said that they are raising, how has it bettered the lot of Nigeria? So for me, I believe there's a need for APC to go back, re-strategize, and even the government in particular, to know that this thing they are doing is not leadership. Let them just go back and re-strategize and come up with something that can better the lot of Nigeria. It's unfortunate, and I don't know how long we continue in this pandemonium process that we are doing that is not yielding any results. Good morning.
Morning to you too. Thanks for calling. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Sherry.
Good morning to you.
Yes. How was your night?
It was okay, thank you.
This is Joy from Eba.
Welcome.
Mr. Sheriff, what I want to comment is on this inflation rate. It's getting out of hand, though. You cannot buy anything. And they are telling us it's 38%. It's more than 38, though. It's almost 60%, though. Because every blessed day, things are getting worse. And we have a president, and he's not doing anything. And the so-called lawmakers that we put there to help us, they are only after their pocket, their stomach, their children. This 2025 is going to be worse too, unless if there is any God intervention. Because the farmers are no longer going to farm. They are no longer. Look at onions, very small thing, 200 naira. This one. Enjoy yourself.
You too, Joy. Thank you for calling. Nigerian for good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning to you.
Yeah. My take is about the bandit. About the bandit and the sponsors. You see, I have a very close relative that told me that bandit and the Boko Haram can never stop because of those that is backing them. You see that all these retired generals and big men in the north are the support of the bandit and this thing. He has resigned from the military. So sometimes they will tell them that they are fighting militants or bandits. They will tell them one place. Their commander will continue speaking Hausa with full call for 2 hours. After the whole thing, they will come back as if they went there to fight. He is communicating with the person that sent them. He said it cannot stop. And somebody came out sometime and said that the law, they should publish the sponsors and this thing. At the end of the day, nothing happened. The bandit, the Boko Haram, and this thing cannot stop because of those that is backing them. They are very strong people, the retired generals and the NGOs.
Thank you.
That are sponsoring them.
Thank you.
It cannot stop.
Thank you.
And they know them. They don't want to do anything.
Thank you. Thank you for your thought. Nigeria Info. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Mercy calling you from Ikorodu.
Welcome, Mercy.
Yes, what I just want to say is the list of Nigeria problem today is the president. And the problem we are facing, he has become our main target. We have our lawmakers. We have our local government chairman and councillors. Those people stay right within us. We know majority of their families. We know their village. We know their houses. Yes, most of them have moved to Abuja and the likes. But those are still the main targets we can get to get a primary solution to this problem. We are all talking of bandit. It will not stop. You know why? Some years back, the very man whose house one of them, a leader, was hidden, is part of the government today. Nothing is done to it. That's why I'm telling you that Tinubu is our least problem. And Nigeria should not pray that Tinubu should go, because if Tinubu leaves, Nigeria may become a terrorist nation.
Thank you.
Why did I say this?
Thank you for your thought.
The that will take over.
Thank you for your thought. Appreciate it. You got 60 seconds, everybody. Every call. Nigeria Info, good morning to you. Morning to you. I can't hear you. Do try and call me back, okay? I can't hear anything. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sheriff.
Yes, Miss. Morning to you.
Mr. Bully on the line.
You're welcome.
Let me start with Enya Sanusi's story. He said he won't support this administration because he feels that the president or the team of the president lacks credibility. Let me permit me to rephrase that. I would say the entire team, from top to bottom, at the end of affairs, including the boss himself, they lack credibility, integrity, and capacity to rule. And that's why we are here. Till this, we're just grounded, more like stagnancy. Except they recalibrate their system and think of what to do, on how best to move this nation forward. We are going nowhere. Now, on the falling heroes, my question is this: what's the essence and significance of celebrating the Armed Forces on Remembrance Day when the loved ones that these fallen heroes left behind are uncatered for? In our former national anthem, they will say, the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. But in Nigeria, the labors of our heroes past is already in vain. And we're just here, nothing. Every day you keep saluting, gunshot, salute. Is that what these widows and their children will eat? And you just leave them uncatered for? Something has to just shift. Something has to change so that this can be catered for. What is the essence of using your youthful years to serve your country only to be left and neglected with your family at the end of the day?
Thank you.
It's uncalled for. Thank you very much, Mr. Sherry.
Thank you too for calling. Nigeria Info. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, Baba G.
You're welcome.
Yeah, honestly, first this year, I promised myself I will not think negatively because of mental health, honestly. And I want to say here that 2025 will be good for all of us. As for Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, he said he don't want to help Mr. President. I think he should try help Mr. President. But Mr. President, the mistake he made, when he came to power, he would have called all the seasoned economists, people like Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, Harry Boyo, people like Professor Shasoludo, Okonjo-Iweala. You call them to round table. It doesn't matter you are not in the same political party, so that they can be able to move the ship. Because of Nigeria economy, people are feeling it. It's better for Sanusi to rethink, please, so that you can be able to help Mr. President in terms of economy. I'm not a fan of this government, but I choose not to think negatively, again, honest. Thank you very much. Bless you.
Thank you too for calling. Appreciate your time. Well said. 7:53 is the time from our studio. Let's take this one here, then we go to WhatsApp. Good morning to you.
Hello, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please.
My own take is on the general's issues, the statement of the generals.
Okay.
The previous government, Buhari government, they brought the list of people sponsoring bandits and all these things. What have APC government done? What did Buhari do? Buhari didn't do anything. And now we have a new president, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Haven't him seen those lists? Have he attended to it? Forget it. We have not seen people, we have not seen leaders with political will to set this country free. We have not. Until we get them, all of us are going to see the difference. Thank you and have a nice day.
Have a good one yourself. Now let's go take some thoughts that have dropped on WhatsApp. Let's start with WhatsApp. Okay. This person says, whoever suggested Sharia in West deserves to be jailed. Anybody can suggest anything. The question is, who is going to oppose and how will it be passed, in a region such as the Southwest here? How? Okay. So I'm going to take another one very quickly now. This is from Ayo in Bugije. Ayo says, where is Bugije? Ayo says, they say our government treats our retired veterans in this part of the world is very bad. Their labor is in vain in Nigeria. That's, you mean the way. The way. Well, thank you, Ayo. Thank you for sharing your thought. I've got another one here, though, and it reads, Ugo is in Jakondi and Ugo says, on tourism tax, must we tax everything action in Nigeria? Don't understand that part. For me, it's a negative tax. What will we do if these Nigerians refuse to come back? I thought we should be thinking how to incorporate our citizens in diaspora to boost our economy by bringing them back. Tinubu promising falling heroes' wives is just a rhetoric of empty promises. Let me see. Nothing will happen. Their situation will be worse if care is not taken. That's Ugo from Jakonde, who drop all of that. So I've got another one here. It says, Sheriff, good morning. They are proposing tax for diasporas, $500 for tourism. Sanusi said he will not help Tinubu. I laugh in Swahili. I support Bala. What do you mean by Bala? Okay. Ayo, thank you for sharing. I think that you missed out something there. Let me take this last one, then we'll go to YouTube. Tayo is in Nigeria, and Tayo says, year in, year out, as our military celebrate Remembrance Day, we also match it with their suffering. No proactive measure to alleviate their suffering. I guess everybody is in it for it. I'm sure we know what the theme of the next Remembrance Day would be already. That's Tayo who dropped that. Tayo, thank you for sharing your thoughts. 7:56. Let me head to YouTube. I've got this one here on YouTube, and it says, let me see. I'm trying to skip past all the back and forth here. It's always very crowded for the back and forth. No concrete contribution. Okay, so we're going to dump YouTube. Everybody is busy engaging in their personal stuff. Okay. So I'm going to quickly go to Twitter. That's X. Let's see how many that we can pick up from Twitter before we go. I'd like to pick up something from Twitter this morning. So I have this one here that says, no, this one is not for me, so I'm going to drop this one as well. So let's use that time to take calls then. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning to you.
My name is Ian. Okay, so I'm responding to the tourism levy.
Right.
I think it's the easiest thing anybody can think about. We're talking about Nigerians, not foreigners. How can you be thinking of levying people who are Nigerians coming home? Why can't you just think of what to do to give value so they can spend money? This is the laziness we have in this government. The easiest thing is to tax people, give levies. It is so lazy. Think of value so that when they're coming in, they see things to spend money on. Why are you taxing Nigerians? How is it even, what sense does that even make? Thank you.
Thank you, too, for calling. Appreciate it, okay? Let me take one more as we go. Good morning to you. Morning. I can't hear you. I'm really, really sorry. I can't hear anything. Good morning to you. Oh, yeah. This one, too, has dropped. So let's just take this one then. Good morning to you.
Hello, Sheriff.
Morning to you.
My name is Godman. I don't think I've wished you Happy New Year.
New Year to you, too.
Okay. On the story of the ex-generals coming to say, of course, we all know that sponsors are there. The list came out during Buhari's time. I just don't understand. That is just going to solve everything. You undo this thing from the root of where it's coming from, the sponsors, and the government is doing nothing about it. That solves everything. So this is just frustrating how it's so simple, and yet this government will do nothing. And I think we also, as citizens, we have our part to play because we need to pressure the government to do what they need to do. Which is where the protests come if you're in a democratic administration. So I don't get it. We also need to wake up and pressure the government to do what they need to do. Instead of just talking and talking and talking. Let's rise up and do what we need to do for them to do what they need to do for our good.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
What we need to do and what they need to do. Message passed, message received. Lagos, this is where we'll wrap it up today. I'd like to say one or two things about the diaspora, whatever tourism. I think it's just sense of entitlement, lack of creativity. Someone who just feels that they need to take from the rest. It's the same mentality behind, boys mounting roadblock anywhere that they want to do something on their streets. So they feel that because you're driving past, you should pay. Same mentality for boys standing by the gates of a estate. If you're bringing something in, that you have to pay. Same mentality if you're moving your stuff. It's just part of who we are. And it's unfortunate. I am Sheriff Quadry. Good morning to you.
Round the clock, we'll bring the news,
sports,
events,
talk, and even more talk.
My word is
crisis averted in aviation sector.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.